6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has enlisted support of the opposition parties to ensure delimitation of constituencies for timely conduct of the next general elections. The International Monetary Fund has appreciated Pakistan for maintaining macroeconomic stability despite challenges. Over 300 Ferraris and 17 commanders surrendered to the government in Balochistan today. In occupied Kashmir, the resistance leadership has called for a complete shutdown tomorrow to mark the World Human Rights Day. North Korea has agreed with the United Nations to regularize communications at various levels to diffuse the tension on the Korean peninsula. The World 11 hockey team will arrive in Pakistan on the 10th of next month to play two-match series against the national team. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi has urged all the political parties to join hands to take democracy forward in the country. Addressing the groundbreaking ceremony of 1,263 megawatt LNG power plant in Jhang today, he regretted that certain parties are trying to undermine the democratic process. The Prime Minister said the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz desires timely conduct of next general elections, but its opponents appear to be fleeing from the polls. He said the Pakistan People's Party and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf are creating hurdles in the passage of the constitutional amendment for delimitation of constituencies from the Senate, despite the fact that it was passed collectively from the National Assembly. He said passing of the constitutional amendment by the Senate is necessary for holding timely elections in the country so that the Election Commission can have sufficient time to complete its work. Shahid Khaqan Abbasi said the people of the country will decide the future of the parties in the next general elections to be held in August. He said the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz will participate in the elections on the basis of its performance and expressed the confidence that the party will emerge triumphant. Referring to the power plants launched by the federal and the Punjab governments over the last 4 years, the Prime Minister said we have fulfilled the commitment to overcome the power outages. He said only those areas will face outages where power pilferage exists. The Prime Minister said the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz government has completed the power projects with speed and complete transparency, keeping in view the future requirements of the country. Referring to the 1,263 megawatt of LNG power plant in Jhang, he said this is the fourth project of its nature. 3 LNG plants have already been added to the system. He said it is the first government which is not only launching projects, but also completing them. He was confident that the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz will be in government when the Jhang LNG power plant will be commissioned in 14 months' time. Shahid Khaqan Abbasi said after the 18th constitutional amendment, it is also the responsibility of the provinces to install power plants. He said both the federal and the provincial governments will have to work in unison for power generation as well as check the power pilferage. The International Monetary Fund has appreciated Pakistan's efforts in maintaining macroeconomic stability. The visiting IMF post-program monitoring mission, which held various rounds of talks with Pakistani side in Islamabad, noted impressive economic growth in Pakistan despite multiple challenges. During his interaction with the International Monetary Fund delegation, the Finance Secretary Shahid Mahmood said the country is on the right track and key economic indicators are moving in positive direction. He pointed out that significant growth has been achieved in revenue generation in the current fiscal year. The Finance Secretary said Pakistan has achieved fiscal consolidation without compromising on development expenditures. He said the government has set its eyes on achieving 6% growth rate, which is inclusive, pro-poor, and sustainable. Over 300 Ferraris and 17 commanders belonging to banned organizations surrendered to the government in Balochistan today. They laid down their weapons at a ceremony in Quetta. Addressing the ceremony, Chief Minister Balochistan Nawab Sanaullah Khan Zahri said law and order situation in the province is improving with each passing day. He said those who are conspiring against Pakistan will never succeed in their evil designs. Nawab Sanaullah Khan Zahri said the people of Balochistan are patriotic and playing an important role in the development of the country and the province. People from different walks of life in Bajor Agency have welcomed the federal government's decision to table FATA reforms bill in the National Assembly on Monday. Talking to reporters in Bajor Agency, leaders of various political and religious parties praised the federal government for accelerating its efforts to implement the reforms quickly. Showing the response over yesterday's press conference of the Minister for States and Frontier Regions, Abdul Qadir Baloch, and the Planning Commission's Deputy Chairman, Sartaj Aziz, they said they are fully satisfied with the government's efforts to implement reforms in the federally administered tribal areas. They expressed the hope that the proposed reforms would not only repeal the country's old colonial governance system of frontier crimes regulation, or FCR, but also boost socio-economic conditions of the tribal areas. They also welcomed the government's plan to merge FATA with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in the next 2 years. Dera Ismail Khan police have foiled a terror bid in Takwara area of Tehsil Kolachi, recovering 9 hand grenades hidden in the fields. A police officer in Kolachi said the hand grenades were defused by the bomb disposal squad. This is Radio Pakistan. In occupied Kashmir, the resistance leadership has called for complete shutdown tomorrow to mark the World Human Rights Day. A protest rally will also be taken out from Lal Chowk towards the United Nations Observer's Office at Sonawar to mark the day. Meanwhile, the puppet authorities disallowed the joint resistance leadership to organize a seminar in Srinagar today by completely sealing the entire area. The joint resistance leadership, comprising Sayyid Ali Gilani, Mirwais Omar Farooq and Muhammad Yasin Malik, had announced to hold the seminar titled Human Rights Violations in Kashmir and Criminal Silence of the World Community. A senior United Nations official, Jeffrey Feltman, arrived in Beijing today after wrapping up a 5-day visit to Pyongyang aimed at diffusing tension and the tense situation in the Korean Peninsula. In his trip, Jeffrey Feltman met North Korea's Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho and the Vice Foreign Minister Park Myung-kook. During these meetings, North Korea agreed with the United Nations to regularize communications through visits at various levels to diffuse the tension. Meanwhile, China has called on the United States to freeze military drills. It also urged North Korea to hold weapons tests to calm the tensions. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has warned that the Korean Peninsula remains deeply entrenched in a vicious cycle of demonstrations of confrontation, and the outlook is not optimistic. Palestine has announced not to participate in any talks involving the United States until President Donald Trump reverses his decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Palestinian chief negotiator Saeb Erekat posted on the social media that any meeting with the United States would mean a recognition of its move. 2 Palestinians were martyred during fresh airstrikes launched by Israel in the Gaza Strip today. A Hamas source confirmed that the 2 men killed in the strikes belonged to the group. Hamas urged the Palestinians to keep up confrontation with Israeli forces. In Yemen, 4 people were killed in an airstrike outside a television station in Sana'a today. And now news about sports. World 11 hockey team will arrive in Pakistan on the 10th of next month to play 2-match series against the Pakistan team. Secretary Pakistan Hockey Federation Shahbaz Ahmed said the tour of the World 11 will be a way forward to bring back international hockey to Pakistan and to organize the Pakistan Hockey League in April next year. And finally, the weather. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain thunderstorm with snowfall over the hills is expected at isolated places in northeastern Balochistan, Mirpur Khas, Sakkar, Malakand divisions, Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also log on to the live streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.